Welcome back. I'm Bob Lee, and our next guest is founder of Stop Handgun Violence. He joins us today to discuss gun violence. We welcome John Rosenthal to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm well. I'm truly among the lucky ones at a time where so many are not. So I appreciate it every minute.
So you've been doing this organization for some time now. When did you start it?
So I am a business person and a gun owner based in Boston, Massachusetts. I co-founded Stop Handgun Violence with the late Michael Kennedy, one of Robert F. Kennedy's sons, back in 1995, in order to try and have Massachusetts, urban Massachusetts, become a model for gun violence prevention across the country. And I'm very proud to say that since 1995, we've reduced the rate of gun deaths by over 40%. We're an urban state that now has the most comprehensive gun laws and the lowest gun death rate in the nation, except for Rhode Island, which we have basically the same firearm fatality rate.
Yeah. John, I mean, you have the most comprehensive gun laws of the nation. Why aren't other nations following you? Why aren't other states following you, by the way?
I know primarily because of the polarized debate that's raged for years, that's been fueled by the far sort of right extremism that would say that that gun laws don't work, that gun laws are a violation of the Second Amendment, that it's just mentally ill criminals, were causing the gun violence, and no laws would ever help that. And we disproved all of that. Again, I'm a business person and a gun owner. I support gun rights, but I do not support gun rights, like most responsible gun owners, for people who are prohibited, who are felons, and who can't pass a background check. I mean, in 32 states, there is no criminal background check requirement to buy 1 or 1,000 guns a day. So how do you even know if somebody's prohibited unless you have a background check? So we start with background check. Then we became the first state in the nation to have consumer protection standards for inherently dangerous products, firearms. Toy guns and teddy bears are regulated by the National Consumer Product Safety Commission in this country, along with every other consumer product, except the real firearm that will result in 100 deaths today, 40,000 deaths a year. More gun deaths in the United States since 1975 than all U.S. servicemen and women killed in all foreign wars combined, and there's no criminal background check or consumer protection standards, on the gun industry. So, first state in the nation to promulgate regulations for the gun industry, background checks for all gun sales. We ban military-style assault weapons and large capacity ammunition magazines made for war, made so you do not need to reload of more than 10 rounds.
And they also eliminated the bump stock, right?
That's right. And remember, police are here to protect us. And the majority of police do their job of serving and protecting. They're given 13 to 17 rounds in their service weapons. Congress says it's perfectly fine for anyone to have a 100-round magazine to overpower police. And by the way, I am a gun owner. I have hunted. When you get a hunting license, and the NRA has no problem with hunting licenses for anyone that hunts, when you get a hunting license for deer, you're limited to 5 rounds. For duck, you're limited to 3 rounds to protect the duck and deer population.
Yeah, that's 5 rounds of shotgun slug. Like
no
shotgun
limit.
Slug for deer. Yeah.
Correct. No limit on the number of rounds to hunt humans. And these military-style assault weapons and large capacity ammunition magazines are the common denominator in the daily mass shootings of 4 or more people. And there is a mass shooting of 4 or more people every single day of the year now.
What do we do about gun violence on our streets? How can we conquer that?
Well, we have to, first of all, make it easier to get a job and harder to get a gun, which is the opposite in a lot of our urban neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Most folks who are carrying guns are carrying them for self-protection because other people are carrying guns. We have more gun violence in this country than the 26 industrialized nations combined, because no background check requirement, no consumer protection standards, no limit on the number of military-style assault weapons you can buy. We are unique in the world, and we are paying the consequences. We have gun violence by design, created by the far right in this country, who happens to own the Republican Party, and they've intimidated the Democratic Party into submission. So we have unrestricted access to guns, including by folks who are seriously mentally ill and shouldn't have a gun. So that's where, and of course, for folks that are prohibited, but if there's no background check, you don't know they're prohibited. So we have gun violence by design in order to increase gun violence, increase fear, and increase gun sales. The NRA loves a good mass shooting, especially one that is high profile, because after every single mass shooting, what happens? Gun sales
go up.
Go up. That's the game. And Trump loves everything there is about fear. That's what motivates him. So he's in bed with the NRA. He has actually tried to deregulate silencers. Silencers are an attachment that goes onto a weapon that makes it easier to shoot and kill without detection. Trump's family is heavily invested in the silencer industry. Silencers have been banned in this country since the 30s, and they are now trying to deregulate silencers to make it easier to kill, more fear, and more gun sales.
So what do we do?
What we do is we need to change Congress if they're not going to change gun laws. We changed the Congress in the midterms, and what happened? The democratically controlled Congress immediately passed a universal background check bill for all gun sales. We need to renew the ban on military-style assault weapons that was in effect for over 10 years in this country. We need to regulate guns like any other consumer product. And when we do, which is basically what we've done here in Massachusetts, you will see a dramatic reduction in injuries and deaths from guns without banning most guns. And frankly, the straightest line to do that, and I am an independent, and I am a business person, and I am a gun owner, but in November, you have to vote for Joe Biden, because Trump is just going to be more of the same.
How do you keep the guns from coming into neighborhoods? I mean, where's it coming from, do you think?
So every single state that has tougher gun laws, like Massachusetts, has a lower gun death rate. Every single state. You match up the states with the lowest gun death rates, and you will see they all have gun laws that are stronger than all the states with the highest gun death rates. In Massachusetts, we're an urban state. Lowest gun death rate in the nation. We border Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and the rest of the states that have no background check requirements. 70% of all guns traced to crime in Massachusetts come from those states without background checks. So you need universal background checks that need to be enacted by Congress, signed by the president, to make it harder, not easier, harder for prohibited people from getting guns. That's number one. And the next thing you do is you renew the ban on assault weapons, because during that 10-year period, when the assault weapon ban was enacted between 94 and 2004, we saw a 66% reduction in those weapons showing up in crime. Then you make it harder for people who shouldn't have guns to get them. And if you ban military-style assault weapons and you require licensing and registration for guns, like we do for cars, like we've proven to work in Massachusetts, it's no inconvenience to law-abiding gun owners, but it just makes it harder for prohibited people from getting guns. And you need to do it in every state, because believe me, and at every gun show, there are 5,000 gun shows in this country. They're weekend shows. no background check requirement. So you just need universal background checks across the country. You don't need to ban anything except for assault weapons and cheap Saturday night special handguns that are easily concealable without any safety features. And regulate guns, the manufacturer of guns, like we regulate just toy guns, and institute a licensing and registration regime, that renewable licensing like we have for cars, and will then join the rest of the world and having sane gun policy without any inconvenience to law-abiding gun owners.
John, what are you working on next that's coming up that we should know about?
Frankly, I'm helping with policy to any member of Congress or state legislatures or city councils that are looking at how do you reduce injuries and deaths. Remember, we're an urban state, we've proven it. And we're also putting up a Billboard campaign, working closely with Manuel Oliver and Patricia, who lost their son, Joaquin, 17-year-old son, at Parkland mass shooting, putting up billboards around the country that are basically showing Joaquin's picture and saying, quote, "I was murdered. I can't vote.
Yeah, wow.
Vote for me in November. Gun laws save lives." And frankly, we can get our country back. We can get our neighborhoods back. We can begin to prioritize public health and public safety without banning guns. But we have to make it harder for people to get guns that shouldn't have them.
John, is this is all on your website?
Yes, stophandgunviolence.org is our website.
John Rosenthal, co-founder of Stop Handgun Violence. We thank you. We'll take a break. I've got more coming up next right here on Open.